Good morning, Owen and Preet. How are you guys this morning? I would love for you to get your progress, your English language arts book for me, okay? And we are going to start Unit 1 today. And this week we're going to be working on 2 stories. We're going to be working on The Dove and the Ant and The Crow and the Pitcher. Now, the object of what we're going to be doing this week is asking and answering questions by understanding what we've read, the text, okay? That is what text is. We're going to read the stories, and then we have questions that are going to be asked, and you're able to find the answers because it's within the story. And I need to find out that this helps me understand if you have an understanding of what you're reading, okay? So let's turn to our first story. It is going to be on page 12. Now I'm going to be looking down because I am going to be reading the story, and I would like for you to read it along with me, and then if you want, you can pause and practice reading it on your own, okay? Or if mom or dad has a little bit of time and they can sit with you, maybe you guys can go back and forth. You read one paragraph and they read one paragraph. But if mom and dad are working, you need to take the time and read this on your own, okay? And it's okay if it takes a while. But I'm going to read it first, okay? And then we're going to do our daily work. And then I'll let you know what your homework is for tonight, okay? So here we go. The Dove and the Ant, a retelling of an Aesop fable. Now, the genre for this is called a fable, okay? There is no author for this. We have no idea who wrote this. This is something that was passed down, is hundreds of years old, and it tells a story. It usually will give you a moral that you learn something from it. So why don't we read The Dove and the Ant together if you want to follow along. You ready? The weather in the spring had been very hot and dry. An ant dragged herself to the river, hoping to get a drink of water. However, weak from thirst, she fell into the water. As she struggled to get back to the land, the current carried her away from shore. Try as she might, the ant could not get closer to shore. There was nothing else floating in the river for her to hold on to. I am lost, she thought. Nobody saw me fall in, and there's nobody to help me. Getting more and more tired, the ant started to sink beneath the water. High in a tree near the bank of the river sat a sharp-eyed dove. Her strong eyes let her see the ant splashing, and she knew the ant was in trouble, and she thought to herself, "What can I do?" The dove pitied the ant's condition, and she wanted to help. Spotting a small branch on the ground, she swooped down and grabbed it in her beak. She took a hop and flew out over the river. Where was the ant? The dove saw the weakest of splashes. Zooming out of the sky, she dropped the branch right by the ant. The ant felt the branch. She got one leg up on it and then another, and finally scrambled on top. She shook the water from her eyes. Seeing that the ant was safe, the dove flew away. The branch floated to shore, and the ant stepped off onto land. I have to thank the dove, she thought to herself. I don't know how I will, but I have to. Spring turned to summer. The dove's hatchlings grew, and the young birds left the nest, and the dove forgot all about saving the ant. The ant also had work to do. With her mates, she tunneled underground. She searched for food above ground and brought it back to the nest. Let me turn the page. Watch out, my son's coming in. The ant sometimes talked to her friends about the dove. Why worry about it? You will never be able to thank her, they said. Now help me lift this blade of grass. By the fall, hunters started coming into the woods. Some were nosy and would crash through the trees, wearing bright red and yellow coats. The animals had an easy time avoiding the loud hunters. Other hunters were stealthy. They walked quietly and wore green and brown clothes. The bushes did not rustle as the quiet hunters went past. The animals had to be on the lookout for these hunters. One day the ant was alone near a clearing in the woods. A young man was lying on his stomach at the edge of the opening, looking as if he was just enjoying the fine weather. But the ant did not like something about him. It wasn't just that he looked out of place there. He had covered himself with leafy branches. He was holding 2 ropes in his hand, and he was not moving at all. And he was looking up into the branches of the tree above him. The ant understood. The ropes were a net, and the man had put bait on the net. The ant looked up into the tree. Sitting on a branch, eyeing the food on the ground, was the dove. The ant scrambled onto the man's hand. As she did, the dove fluttered to the ground. The ant had to hurry. The ant bit the man hard on the hand, and the man yelled and slapped his hand. The dove heard the commotion and hopped to safety. As the dove flew away, the ant thought, "I did it. I saved my friend." Pretty good story, don't you think? So now what we're going to do is first look over onto the left. It says words to know. So your words, I'm looking, is condition, hatchling, and swooped. And then on page 14, that's on page 12. On 14, you have 3 other words: bait, commotion, and stealthy. So what I need you to do on a sheet of paper is you need to know these words, the definition of condition, hatchling, and swooped. If you turn to the back of your book, you are going to see a glossary. And the glossary is going to help you. It has the word and it has the definition. And you need to write that down because you are going to have a vocab test on some of the vocabulary words next week, okay, for me. But right now, so make sure that you write those 6 words down and write the definition down, okay? All right. So let's work on citing evidence. Everybody look underneath the words to know. It says to understand a text, find details in the text to help you answer a question. So the first question is, to understand a story, it helps to ask and answer questions, such as, what characters are in the story? Underline details in the title that answer this question. So look up at the title and underline the 2 characters that are in the story. Did you underline dove and ant? Awesome. Okay, it's exactly what you were supposed to do. It also helps to ask, what is the main problem? What is the problem that is going on in this story? So if we go down and we look at paragraph 2, so go down and look at paragraph 2, and we are going to circle the answer. So it says, what is the main problem? So the main problem is that the ant fell into the water and she couldn't get closer to shore. So what was happening to her? She kept trying to swim and swim, and she couldn't get to shore, and there was nothing to grab onto. Was she getting more energetic, or was she getting tired? That's right. She was getting more and more tired. The ant started to sink beneath the water. Can I please get you to underline that last sentence in paragraph 2? See, if you notice, there are numbers written by each paragraph. So I want you to find paragraph 2, go to that very last sentence, getting more and more tired, and the ant started to sink beneath the water. And can I get you to circle that sentence for me? Okay? Awesome. Now let's look at number B, or not number, but the letter B when it comes to citing evidence. It says questioning why characters do things is also important when you're reading a text. Underline sentences in paragraph 4 that will explain why the dove does what she does. What other fables or folk tales have you read in which one character helps another? All right, so let's go to paragraph 4. The question is, underline the sentences in paragraph 4 that explains why the dove does what she does. So we go to paragraph 4, we find number 4, and let's start reading it. It says, the dove pitied the ant's condition. She wanted to help. That very first sentence gives you the answer. That's why the dove did what she did. She pitied the ant. She saw the ant sinking beneath the water, and she wanted to help. So can I please get you to underline those first two sentences? The dove pitied the ant's condition. She wanted to help. If you underline those two sentences, then you have the answer. What I would like for you to do, where it asks, have you read any other fables or folk tales where a character helps another character? And it's only if you can think of one, write it down for me, okay? And that'd be great, because I would love to see if you've actually read something where one character helps another. And you can just jot it down for me and let me know. Now let's look at page 13. Letter C. Let's ask ourselves, what words does the author use to help me see the action? So we are going to circle the words in paragraph 5. So make sure that you find paragraph 5 on page 13. And we're going to circle words in paragraph 5 that help you see what's happening. So if you closed your eyes, you can see the action that's going on, okay? It says, where was the ant? The dove saw the weakest of splashes zooming out of the sky. She dropped the branch right by the ant. So the weakest of splashes. Somebody's not going to be doing a cannonball. She's going to be going splash, splash. So weakest of splashes, circle that. Zooming out of the sky. It didn't say she came from the sky. It says she zoomed, right? Zooming out of the sky. So that means she was going as fast as she could. All right? So we need to circle that phrase. And then the last thing that we want to circle is she dropped the branch right by the ant. So we can picture this weak splash, the bird zooming, and then she's dropping the branch, and it lands right by this tired little ant in the water, right? That's all visual phrases that help us picture the story and make it a movie inside of our head. Now let's go on to D. The story setting includes when it happens. Underline details that tell you when this story happens and how much time passes in this story. So, you need to pause my video right now, and you need to read the last four paragraphs, 6, 7, 8, 9 on this page. And I would like for you to try to find when you can figure out when the story setting, when it happens. So pause now. Okay, and I'm going to pretend that you've paused it, so I hope you did, okay? Now we're starting back up again. So I'd love for you to look down at paragraph 8. Spring turned to summer. The dove's hatchlings grew, and the young birds left the nest. So it tells us spring turns to summer. So the dove saved the ant in the spring. And then time went by, and the dove's babies, her hatchlings, they grew up and they left the nest. So now it's summer. This is the setting. It tells us when all of this happened. Spring through summer, okay? So you need to underline the very first sentence of paragraph 8. Okay. Now, your homework for tonight is going to be to answer these comprehension check questions. You're going to see them on the bottom of 13. And if you turn over, you're going to, I want you to do 1 and 2 on page 15. Do not do number 3, okay? Because we are going to talk about it tomorrow. All right, guys? So just remember that I want you to go ahead and I want you to do the comprehension checks, questions 1 and 2 on 13, and 1 and 2 comprehension check questions on 15 for homework tonight, okay? And tomorrow, on Tuesday, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to go through and we're going to do the cite evidence for the last 2 pages. All right, guys? All right, and we're also going to go over those vocab. So don't forget, find your definitions for your 6 vocab words, and then your homework tonight is going to be the comp check questions on page 13, 1 and 2, and then your comp check questions on page 15, 1 and 2. Don't do 3, only do 1 and 2 for me, okay, on page 15. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.